Alrighty, welcome to the next Algebra 1 video. We're finished with all the different techniques for converting different parabolas or quadratic equations from one form to another and finding things like roots and y-intercepts and vertices. So now we're going to just have a quick video summarizing all the different things we've learned and reminding us the different transitions we can make from the 6 possible combinations of forms. So we're going to start by looking at how to go from general to factored. So general form into factored form. In this case, general form, if you remember, is the ax squared plus bx plus c, and factored form would be into a times x minus r1 times x minus r2. So to do that, the best thing to do, or if you're lucky, the thing you can do is just factor it by hand. So you draw your set of parentheses, you try to find the two numbers that add up or multiply to the thing that you need. If you try that and you can't figure it out, either because you're just having a mind freeze, or if because the answer would be something that you can't think of easily, like it's a radical, it's going to come out not to be a perfect number, then you can try to use the quadratic formula, which if you recall is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay. Another option is to go from vertex form to factored form. So if you remember, vertex form was a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. Let me just put my y equals in front of each of these so they're equations instead of expressions. Okay, so to go from this form, vertex, into factored, there was no way to just convert the formula, but we knew that in factored form the roots has a y value of 0. So if you plugged in a 0 right here, you could just solve for x by working backwards, subtract k from both sides, divide both sides by a, take the square root and branch, and then add h to both sides. So you're really not actually converting the form, you're simply just solving for the roots and then writing the answer in factored form. Okay, so that's how you get to factored form. To go from factored to general, so now you're going to go the other way, getting to general form, no matter which place you're coming from, is typically the easiest thing to do because it's a set pattern. There's no trick or rhyme where you have to figure out what to do. You always just FOIL it out. So if you've got it like this, you write, or you use the perfect binomial expansion, x minus h times x minus h. Or if you've got it like this, you distribute or use FOIL or use rectangle diagrams, whatever preferred method you have. And just remember to follow PEMDAS, because if you have to multiply by a coefficient or add some value at the end, make sure that you are doing the squared part first, and then multiplying by the coefficient, and then adding the k. And the other thing is, make sure you do not distribute the 2 in. You have to use FOIL, where you write it twice, x minus h times x minus h, and then square it out, or you have to use the expansion formula. Okay, to go to vertex form, then typically you want to use the shortcuts, but you could do it the long way if you want. So from general form, we just learned a shortcut, negative b over 2a gives you the x coordinate of the vertex. And if you don't like doing that, if you don't want to use the shortcut, you could always complete the square, obviously, but a lot of times that's more work. To go from factored form to vertex form, you know that when you have factored form, you have the two roots, and the vertex x coordinate is halfway between them. So here you're using shortcuts, either minus b over 2a or halfway between the roots. And again, once you know the x coordinate, you want to plug it in to find y. And then you'll have the x and y coordinates. You could write the form in vertex form. Okay, here's the same thing, just pictorially. So to go from factored form to standard form, you want to FOIL. Or to go from vertex form to standard form, you want to FOIL. So those are your kind of, in my opinion, the easier ones. To go from standard backwards to factored, here you want to factor it, hence the name factored form. And if factoring doesn't work, you could use the quadratic formula. Okay, to go from standard back to vertex, here's where you would complete the square. Or you can try using that shortcut, which is the x coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. Okay, to go from factored form into vertex form this way, you would use the shortcut that the x coordinate of the vertex is halfway between the roots. which is r1 plus r2 divided by 2. And then you could plug in to get the y-coordinate. And then to go backward from vertex form into factored form, you're going to solve for the roots. Okay, so there's different possibilities or ways that you can go around all the different paths, but each one will help you get some bit of information. Standard form helps you get the y-intercept. Vertex form helps you get the vertex, obviously, and factored form helps you get the roots. All three forms allow you to see what the stretch factor is, and there's more ways to find the vertex or the y-intercept or the roots than just strictly converting into a certain form. So, for example, if you want to find the y-intercept, you don't have to convert it to standard form. You could just plug in x equals 0 and solve for y and see what you get. So there's going to be kind of tips and tricks and stuff that you're welcome to try to use, and the more comfortable you get with quadratics and these different forms, the more willing and able you are to use shortcuts. But for now, you definitely want to be able to write any equation in any form and identify all the important information about it.